What's going on, everybody? We've got a special version of the Endpoint podcast coming out here with all of the CS guys to kick things off with. Obviously, all of us are stuck at home, isolated, good old Corona, just messing everything up. But it gives us plenty of time to do things like this. Also play some more CS. So first of all, for all of you guys, how are you doing? How's quarantine been? I guess just more of the same, playing a lot?
Yeah,
Just playing all
definitely.
day, yeah.
Thomas, do you have to go uni still, or you got to do it from home or anything?
Sorry, what?
Do you have to go uni, or are you just doing it all from home?
I have to do it all from home now.
Oh, that's not too bad though, right? Are
Being
you,
done
are you
dirty.
balancing correctly or not?
Yeah, I've got a break now because of Easter, but yeah,
Mhm.
Corona's really messed things up.
Just meant you can play more CS. That's the main thing. So this is all talking about kind of what we've done with Endpoint, what you guys have done in bringing the team to some of the highest points that UK seen in a long, long time in success and what we've been able to achieve. So I think the first thing I should start with is when I've been discussing you guys before, beginning of the year to where you are now, when I've been talking to other talent about it, it's probably the most excited we've been for a UK team in a long time. But what did it take for you guys to kind of put this all together to make this project come together?
Originally, I think it was a bit random. I was playing with some European players. I think Thomas and Kaya and Robin might have been playing together, but there was no team. And then WSG qualifiers came along, and then we decided. I asked Kaya actually, surreal, if he wanted to play it, and then we just made the roster there. And then we did one WSG qualifier and played ever since, pretty much.
So that it all worked out pretty well, right? We've been a long time waiting for this to happen in terms of seeing a UK team rise up and have a chance. But when you're doing this, right, when you're forming this roster, you guys have played together before on different teams. You guys have played against each other so much. How do you pick the right members to try and make this lineup work compared to what we've seen across the UK scene many other times? Teams you guys have been a part of, where it's just all looks good at the beginning, then it falls apart a few months later.
I think we've all played together. I played with everyone in the team before, apart from Kaya. So I sort of knew what everyone would bring, and I didn't really have any worries about it, to be honest. I don't know what anyone else thought.
Well, I think what's different, what differs this team to other UK teams in the past is I think we have way more experience than any other UK team has ever had, and I think the 5 individuals in this team is just hard workers, and we all respect each other, and we like work on our problems together, and we are not afraid of like saying what's wrong and like taking criticism, and I think that's what differs us to other UK teams and stuff like that. I think we have a way better way of working together than UK teams in general and stuff like that. Mainly because of our experience, I think, and like our European experience. Yeah.
So with the UK scene being what it is, like I'll go for showing my old man face off here. I retired back in 2007, but realistically, I expected us to be in a much better position when we come into 2020 with like terms of teams, what's going on in the UK scene, things being fixed out and players starting to have opportunities. Yes, we've got a few little like one-off success stories, right? Like where we see people break out and try and make moves. But we've never really had a team be consistent and reach the high levels. And I want to get you guys' opinions on why that is, because it's been a long time we've been waiting to see this. You guys seem to have the ultimate chance of making this dream a reality. But when all the previous ones we look at in other UK teams and how they've come together, for me personally as an ex-player, it's like it's embarrassing.
I just don't think that enough people get the opportunity like to play in Europe. Like, you've only got a handful of players. You've got obviously like Smooya, Def. Then you've got like Mantu, but Mantu didn't really play in the UK scene. He played more in the German scene in a English-speaking environment. Then you've got like Alex playing for Vitality, but you know we played with him. Me and Max did in the WSG qualifier back in 2018, I think, and that was like the only time he played with UK teams.
Okay.
But like the opportunity, I think it is there, but people don't grind to it. Like you've definitely got a lot of good players in the UK. Like Vexter showing a lot of good talents. Like Mezzi, Link's really playing well at the moment. But I just don't think they're getting the opportunity to go elsewhere at the moment.
So it's more a problem of the opportunity around there. But is there a chance that maybe you think of other rosters that would be better off maybe coming away from a UK team and having like the core roster maybe be just Brits and then add more international players? Or do you think there's other UK players that can come together and be the right five to make it work?
To be honest, I think Vexed are doing pretty well with what they're doing. I think they're the only team worth mentioning at the moment.
Okay.
Like I generally think that they're gonna probably make MDL, hopefully with us, which will be pretty cool to have 2 UK teams in MDL next season.
Yeah, that'd be sick. That'd be really good. And in terms of like you touched on what Vex had offered, I know there's limited organisations that even offer salaries, let alone the right support in working with UKCS teams. Now I know from other organisations they got annoyed about how rosters would come, form, disappear after they've invested into them. It obviously costs orgs a lot of money and that side of things. But do you think the scene in general just needs more support from the UK side, or do we need something to change from the player perspective? Because from when I look at it, there's also a massive amount of players that need to kind of step up or just decide that they don't want to keep taking things away from the UK scene and allow people who actually want to use the opportunity in the right way to do it.
I definitely think it's the players' responsibility in this topic. I think there's been plenty of UK orgs that have been like offering small salaries and been offering support for teams to actually put in the extra time and into CS, but I think the players have just really mistreated the organizations and just thought that having a salary is an accomplishment that they're happy with rather than grinding further in that and like for the results and putting in the time and trying with the same roster for a longer amount of time rather than, and then I don't know. It feels like a lot of UK teams just like they give up and they're normally just happy with domestic results rather than thinking further and going international. And I think like we don't, in my opinion, I don't really care about UK tournaments at all. Like with this team, that's not my goal. I wanna get really high on the international like scene, and that's where I want the results rather than being happy about winning an APS or an I series, because it's nothing really. Like if you want to get somewhere, that's just like whatever. And I definitely think it's just attitudes. People have to just put in the time, and when they get the salary, that should be an extra boost to just like, yes, I can put in extra time into this and actually get even better than rather than being happy with that.
Yeah,
Yes.
this is what's mental, because like you look at salaries and stuff that we've seen now, it's become a lot more viable, right? Even for tier 2, tier 3 teams to have opportunities to do this full time. And like you guys are saying there's a lot of UK talent out there, but it's almost like the hunger's gone from a lot of these UK players. It's like, okay, you should give up now rather than just taking the little scraps and taking it away from people who actually want to try, I think. Anyone else got anything they want to add to it?
Yeah, I think at the moment in the UK, it's like a massive flip side of like people abusing orgs at the moment. Like, I think it's pretty unprecedented at this moment because people are just abusing them for their salaries, and they're not given any results. They don't do any media. They don't do anything really. But I do think there are teams in the UK who do put in the effort, like smaller upcoming teams like, Chets, they put in effort. I know the CX guys, they practice this quite a lot, and, they definitely put in a lot of effort as well. But some other teams, which I'm not going to mention, I don't think they put in nearly enough effort for what they're asking for.
And that's the thing. I feel like even back towards the end of when I retired and just after, we're talking about like 2010, 2011 style, there was a lot of teams that were just trying to do it off like old results or name value and take a salary while really just kind of not putting in anywhere near the effort. Like I did an interview with Natu not so long ago, which I found was eye-opening. When I'm playing against like the 1.6 4 Kings lineup back then, it was the Brits that were not practicing very hard at all, yet taking the salary. And it was the Norwegian and the Finn that they had on the team who were just putting in all the hours grinding and carrying them. But then whenever they got to big events, they'd be getting smashed. So for you guys, obviously, like you were just saying, Robin, that there's no real interest for you in terms of the UK events. Is it still a case of go to the UK events, make sure you're 100% winning them, and then focus on the bigger goals afterwards?
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess so. Like, I think we should win them. Like, and then I don't know. I don't know how to say it, but I don't know. I feel like we should win them, and then that start, we win them, and then we just like focus on everything else, kind of thing. I don't know. I don't really know how to word it, but something like that, yeah.
And in terms of when you go to these events like the I Series, the Epic Lands, things like that, is it very different in terms of how you guys can even get yourselves prepared for it? Because I know obviously we get tons of mixed teams and stuff start up. You get those wild upsets. It's obviously very different than, say, preparing for MDL or for DreamHack.
I don't think you can really prepare for an I Series. Like the way that we prepare for games, you can't do it at an open LAN like that. It like you have so many mixed teams. Usually you get the UK super mixed team, one of them turning up,
Yeah.
which you can't prepare for. You have your maybe two of the top 4 teams going maybe, and then you'd have to just play your own game and try and win the event. There's nothing you can really do at that event. It's really different to any European lands as well, to be honest with you.
And in terms of what you guys set yourself like expectation wise when you turn up to these events, is it just kind of play your game, use it as a tiny bit of practice, or is it even not even worthwhile practice? It's just, okay, we need to do our job and get the win.
I think in our team we're all professional enough to understand that we have to win the event. It depends. Like for example, if we went to an I Series, it'll probably be a more chilled out environment for us because we know it's like compared to like an EPS, compared to European LAN, it's not going to be as difficult.
Yeah.
But like if we go to EPS, for example, like every game is going to be difficult to an extent. Because I think a lot of teams are anti-strat now in the UK, and everyone will know how we're playing anyway. So I think we should be aiming to win it, but I think like at least put in some effort towards it, and then we'll be fine, I think.
And in terms of the state of like Epic LAN and I Series and stuff now, it's been a long time since I've turned up to it. But when it comes to like what they're doing for the UK scene and trying to push things forward, are you seeing things get better in how the events run, how it is scheduled for you guys? Or is it the same old kind of like crazy cluster of really late night games and kind of not very good at getting yourselves into how a proper event should work, in my eyes?
I think it's always difficult to critique it because it depends who's running it at the time. Like usually Mario was running Epic Lands and they ran really smoothly every time I went. But it's always hard to run a smooth event with same like like 50 teams plus or whatever at an I Series or 30 teams at an Epic Land. And it's pretty difficult. So I don't know what to say about that topic, to be honest.
All right, fair enough. We can leave that one on. But let's get on to more things about the team in general. I know you've got come in as a mental coach. Now, first thing I was interested, this is the first mental coach you guys have had, if I'm right?
Yeah.
So obviously we're getting to a point now in CS where we're seeing crazy amount of overtimes. You just look down some of your games and recent results, long games, the whole distance with it. What kind of a difference has he been able to make in terms of you guys of how you stand together, kind of avoiding arguments and stuff, and being mentally strong and focused throughout all of this?
Over the past few months, I think since January, yeah. He's been like we've had when we've been practicing, we've like discussed the issues we've been having, and we realized that like the way we were going about it was wrong, and like the way that we practiced in like how we would talk to each other was wrong during games and stuff. So that's what we've been working on mainly, and it helps us to like make a resilient mental toughness, for example, in the officials. Like I think the last official we played, it was against All No Attacks, and we went to like one map down, and then the last 2 maps were like overtimes or double overtimes or something, and we remained calm in those games, and it really shows the way we play as well. Like in previous teams, if you get to overtimes or you're losing games, you get a bit stressed, you get like panicky and stuff, and it's like in this team we don't really do that, which is nice.
And in terms of how it's helped you guys come together, is that kind of solidifying the whole mindset and mentality? Obviously, every mental coach works in very different ways across the board when you speak to them. But the thing that we talked about earlier when playing the UK scene and not keeping a roster that stays together, is this something where you guys can have a lot more confidence in how you communicate, how you keep things going and avoid issues like this?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Like any argument that we have is brought to a stop, and like
Yeah.
we don't really like compared to like other teams. I don't think we've had team killing arguments. Like we have the odd discussion about like a round or what we think went wrong or something like that. But in other teams, you have an argument and the team's dead, and it's just not like that in this team.
That's good to hear. That's definitely good to hear. Now, in terms of the UKC and what you guys have in terms of competition there, is it good enough competition for you guys to get like regular practice from? And who would you say is your biggest UK rival?
Vexed. I mean, I don't
Yeah, I
think
think
there
it's
really
Vexed.
is any other team.
Are they
Like,
that much of a rival?
I think they're the only team that can actually take a map of us and stuff. I don't even know
Okay.
what other UK teams there are, to be honest. Like, no flame. I just have no clue because never rarely see UK teams in like international
Okay.
competitions or like get far in qualifiers. So I have no clue actually. I don't know if recent gaming is still around, but I guess they're all right. They have some good players, but I think our main rival and the only team that can get to our level is Vexed.
Okay, and interesting. So they're the biggest rival you have in the UK. In terms of practice-wise, do you practice against many other UK teams, or is it just not worth it?
Never practiced against UK teams.
Well, I don't know if it's flaming, but it's
It's
never
not
worth
black
it.
boys. It's not flaming, right? There's one thing you got to look at is if you're trying to take things to the next level on an honest basis, then if there is literally you are the best, you're not going to see Australis go and play against tier 5 Danish teams, for example. They're just lucky they have a few top Danish teams.
I mean, for us, it's more beneficial to be playing against the top teams because then like we have like there's different prac groups and stuff, and it's just easier and better for us to find out what's working for our team if we play against the better teams. To be honest.
And in terms of practice, this is what I wanted to get onto is like how regularly do you play against some of the say teams within the top 15, for example? Has it been easy for you to get into these groups and have a chance against them?
Yeah, I think we play like it depends how early we put the games. It depends how lazy I'm being, to be honest with you. But no, we have good games against some of them. It depends on the maps, but it's fun to play against them for sure.
Come on, give me a little bit more. I want to know who you're playing against. What teams? What's going on? How are these results looking? I know it's only practice, but it's interesting because there was a point in time where UK teams were just not being accepted into these kind of practice groups. That's what I know for sure.
We're playing against all of them, I guess.
Well, we got. I don't know how to put it on stream, but we got.
I think Navi's a good partner of ours. Like we played Navi quite a bit now.
We got we got slapped by Fnatic. We played close games with Navi. We had some games booked against some American teams, but then the coronavirus thing happened, and then the Pro League thing went regional. So, yeah.
And how much success you find during these practice? What are you able to take away from it? What are you learning going up against these kind of teams? Because obviously they are a lot more experienced in that sense.
I think it depends what we're cracking. So before we went to Anaheim, we realized that playing Vertigo would be to our advantage. So we put a lot of time into Vertigo, and we were playing some teams, and we were just slapping them. We were beating them like 25-5, like 20-10 and stuff. And I thought, wow, maybe we're pretty good on Vertigo. But then it comes to a map like Mirage, for example, or like Nuke. You try and play top teams on those maps, and they've been playing them for years, and you don't know what's going on.
So it's there's a steeper learning curve, right? When you come up against that, when you've been playing maybe teams not on that level so much. But in terms of, in order to kind of get over that hurdle, right, and take it to the next step, what needs to happen for you guys?
I think the way that I've explained to my team is that there's different stages to a team, and like after the first 3 months, we've reached the first stage of having like a map pool. We have like the understanding of what we're doing, but going to the next stage is adding more stuff and practicing more and figuring out what's not working for us. That's what we've been doing the past like 2 weeks or so. It's been practicing and figuring out, like, are we playing the maps the way we want to play them and stuff. And it's just time consuming, but it takes a lot of time.
Now, Robin, this one's directly for you because obviously you're not British, you're a Scandinavian, Swedish man out here, but you've been playing a lot in the UK scene. What were your initial reasons for joining the UK scene, and do you have any regrets about it at all?
I think the main reason is my backbone.
Yeah.
I always played with UK players. Like my first ever team was with a UK player, and TSAC. And then when I joined Sapso, we got to the major, got kicked, and then I got banned a couple of months later. And then there was not much alternatives for me. Like I couldn't play the biggest tournaments. So, and I still wanted to play competitive CS. So then the UK scene was quite an obvious choice. And then TSAC and Daniel Sam brought me into Infused, and then the rest is history, I guess. Like I just got a lot of contacts within the UK scene, and I kept going to the UK lands and playing all the leagues and stuff like that. And then here I am.
And obviously the VAC ban got removed though, which is a huge positive out there. But how did that kind of affect your career? Do you think you'd be in this position that you're in now if that had never happened?
I don't think so. I don't know. I find it hard to like think about where I could have been because I don't know. It makes me kind of sad in a way because like you never know. Like I played the first major when I was 18, and like God knows where. Like maybe if my performance was better there and I actually didn't have the backband, like I could have been in like around the top scene for years for now.
Yeah.
Like now, but I can't really look back. I have to just like look forward and keep grinding and trying to get to the top eventually. Anyways,
Well, you've certainly done it right in the grinding way, and well, you're the team with the most chance now we've seen out of the UK in a long time. And this next one's for all of you in general. Is just in terms of, say, there's some young CS talent watching this now, some people that want to grind their way correctly, not get caught into that horrible UK scene that sees you never go out and gain any experience and waste your life. In general, what advice would you give to those people to make it in the scene and be something successful?
Don't play UKPL. Don't play any UK circuit, man. Go for Face It Challenger, man. Just don't play UKPL.
Come on, man, I made that.
Just you need to play versus better players, and you sort of
Yeah.
hit a ceiling in UKPL where you just don't learn. So 100% play Face It Challenger. You know, grind to it. It'll take longer, but it'll be worth it.
This is why you're here, Thomas, right? I wanted the honest answers. That's what we're looking for. Robin, Max, anything else to add on it?
but I think also that players should put in the time and watching demos and stuff, and also be way more open to criticism and just like if someone better or anyone says that you're doing this wrong, like even though you don't agree, like at least listen to a part of it and see like try to look at why they're saying it and be more open to criticism and improving that way as well, because I think that's really valuable. Yeah.
I've actually been asked the question quite a few times. It's always hard to give an answer to because it depends whereabouts you are in terms of being an amateur or even playing competitively. But I think what I usually say is just try and find a team, even if it's with friends or people you don't know. Just try and find a team and just try and start the grind. Like even starting like ESCA Open, for example, is the way that I started. We played ESA Open, then we played up intermediate into main, and I think we played main for a few seasons. And even just doing that, you get the experience. You get to play against like people your level or even better than your level. It's always beneficial. So yeah, get a team.
And is this a problem still in the UK scene that a lot of the teams, even that are practicing and just trying? I remember it from years ago where they just would sit there and game games, just get matches lined up, and they weren't doing, say, demo review. They weren't trying to have like tactical times and stuff like that. Is that something that still goes on?
I imagine so, because if you don't see the improvement of the UK scene, then like what are the teams practicing? Like you don't. I don't know, like I think us and Vex probably, and maybe even Reason if they're still practicing. I think they understand how to practice. But I don't know. I can't speak for any other team. It's better to practice for a reason rather than just play to play the game, you know. But for us, like for our schedule, for example, we have an hour brief before every day, so we can figure out, for example, if we want to change something, if we want to add a new thing to a map, if we want to watch a demo, if we want to do something on server, we can do anything we want. And we have that every single day, and we can have 2 or 3 hours of it as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. It's definitely there's a huge balance to be had there that I think more and more teams will be smart to learn from on that. So let's talk DreamHack that we got to, right? Because you guys had a fair showing in terms of your first big event like that. But how did you guys handle the whole situation beforehand with the controversy before going to that event? How hard was that for you guys?
I found it pretty hard because I think me and Max got a lot of the criticism.
Yeah.
And like everyone made it out to be like me and Max stealing the spot and whatever, and it's like
to be fair, it was pretty brutal going on social media for a few days. But
and even like me and Safe are friends now, but our friendship kind of like fell apart because of the whole thing and stuff. So that wasn't very fun. I think Max had some similarities with
everyone
his friends.
hated me. Yeah.
So
So
it was
rough.
rough. Yeah,
But
Yeah,
it was
so
a big case of everyone thinking they understood what was going on when
yeah.
it was just like it's one of those just like petty drama things. It was, I don't know, it was a weird one.
And end of the day, right? If anyone actually cared, you want to send a full team. You want to send a team that's practicing and has a chance to do what they do. We don't just want to see another team go there, get wrecked like 16-2, 16-4 each time. And more than likely, that would have been what happens if it went the other way, right? So this in general was probably the best decision to be had from it. In terms of when you got to the event, right? Obviously, you were taking losses and wins, but how was it for you guys being on the stage, this environment, the mentality? Did you guys feel ready at that point?
I think it was a surprising atmosphere for us. Like it was our first big event, and we weren't really like usually you experience. I think it like counts towards our experience as like players in the team, but like no one was panicky. Like when we were playing Fury at the first game, even though it looks like we got battered. Like in my mind, it was a closer game than what it was. But against Forza as well, who again I think at the time they were like a top 10 team. It was like weirdly calm, and I think that played to our advantage and how we managed to get the win over them.
And was Ross there at this point? Had he come in to start helping? Did he travel to the event with you?
Yeah, he came to the event. And it was a good help.
Oh, perfect.
Just keeping us relaxed, even throughout the whole event. Like I think he traveled with me and Thomas on the plane, which you might see in the might have a vlog coming out. I don't know, but
Hey.
yeah, I think we might
Little teaser. Here we go.
might get some behind the scenes of Thomas.
Well, that's
Yeah,
going to be a
don't
good bit of
me.
meme fun, I'm sure. It always is when it involves him.
It's already started, hasn't it?
You're talking about that loss to Furia, right? Like, obviously, anyone that watches it and understands it, you can see the very smaller details that when people just look at the results, they go, oh, yeah, they got wrecked. But you guys know it. We've seen it. Fury are a very different team and a very difficult team to play against. What was it like when you're trying to, like, mid-round call and look at what on earth's going on with these guys?
Well, the thing is, we prepared quite a bit for Furia because we knew we were playing them first game for over a week or so. And we kind of knew what map it would be. Like I think I can't remember what we said. It would be like Inferno or Train, yeah, and it was Inferno. I think it might have been like a 16-6 scoreline or something, but I think the way we started the game was perfect. We knew sort of what they were going to do pistol rounds, sort of what they were going to do on their buy rounds and stuff. But then I think the way they played was just different to what we've experienced in Europe. It was like it was a relentless aggression against us. But I think on a different day we could like replicate the scoreline the way they did against us. We lost some like really like rookie rounds. I think like we got eco'd like 2 or 3 times. We on Banana like on Inferno we just got demolished. It was just like, but after the game we figured out like what are we doing? You know, like we're at like a tier 1 event, like to get it together, and then we played against Furia the day after, and we managed to play like I think we lost Inferno still, but we played way more convincingly.
Yeah.
No, it was Forza. Yeah, we played Forza.
Yeah, Forza, yeah.
So Fury into Forza and then North, wasn't
Yeah.
it? That's how it went.
Yeah.
Before the event, though, did you guys have any boot camp or anything like that done? What was practice schedule like that?
Yeah, we had a boot camp in Sheffield. What's it called? The Lava Esports, was it? A Lava Esports, like a esports center.
Okay.
It was a bit of a weird boot camp, to be honest. We were planning to obviously boot camp, but then that was when the minor qualifier was, and then that's when Flashpoint got announced as well.
Jesus.
So then we were like, oh, we should probably play a few of these qualifiers, and then it turned out that some of them overlapped on certain days, and then everyone started complaining about it, and then they all got moved. So like it was literally one day was a minor qualifier. You play that. Get to day 2, you might win or lose. You lose, okay, never mind. Next day, Flashpoint qualifier. And it was that for the whole 7 days. So
Yeah.
it wasn't the most beneficial boot camp in terms of practice, but we managed to play a lot of the qualifiers, which I guess in some sense we lost a lot in that 1 week period. It was so stressful, but I think it actually kind of helped us before Anaheim. We figured out like a lot of our mistakes on maps, and it was. I think in that sense it was beneficial, but we couldn't really practice that much because we were playing qualifiers all the time.
Now, the Forza game obviously was a big one. You guys managed to take down a team like that. But In terms of when you were actually getting the job done, when you were able to take him down, did that guys give you that like extra bit of belief, that extra bit of faith of what you guys can do?
Yeah, I think across the board in our team, it gave us belief that what we were working towards is working. Like all our strats were working. The way we're playing is working. Everyone was like feeling way more confident on the maps that we won, and even the maps we lost, we knew sort of like how we could fix it. So yeah, I think in that aspect, it was a confidence booster for sure.
And what happened in the North game? Because obviously Dust 2 was certainly a winnable chance for you guys. Is it one of those ones where you go, oh, okay, we really messed XYZ up, or is it one where, okay, they were just better on the day?
It was we lost 2-0, right, against
Yeah,
North.
yeah. There was Dust 2,
Yeah,
it went to overtime, you could have had a third in there.
yeah. It was it Vertigo first map, then Dust 2 the second?
Yeah.
So like on Vertigo, the issue that we ran into was, I was saying before, we played Vertigo a lot before Anaheim, and we were literally beating every team we played against. And the only like North like made a style that was completely different to what we'd practiced against for the entire like period we've been playing. So that was the reason why Vertigo went so like one way, I guess. Like they had this different CT style and even a different T style than what we've been used to playing. But on
They
Dust
just
2, yeah,
adapted really well, I think, on
yeah,
Vertigo.
like
A
it
lot
showed their
well.
experience, to be honest. And on Dust 2, I think, I don't know, we just got, I can't remember what happened in the game, but it went to like double or triple overtime or something. But I guess they managed to edge us out by just having more composure and just like more experience of the team, I guess. But
I also think like a lot of fatigue was kicking in because we played about 4 hours against Forza like early
Yeah.
in the day, and then we had a around 2 or 3
yeah,
hour break. Like these guys are coming fresh out. They're hungry for the win. We've used most of our tank playing like Forza and like beating them out. Edging them out on like OT games, and you know it, I think if we had like a break, like a longer break where we actually used that break properly, like rested and properly did it,
Yeah.
it would have been like a different game. Much closer. I wouldn't say like we would have won, but it would have been definitely more closer than it was. Definitely.
And this is the problem, right? Because when you look at, say, most of the tier 1 events now, you generally don't get more than 1 or maybe 2 best of 3s a day, even when you're in group stages, because of how it's all panning out. But when you come to events like this, it can be that slog, and that drop off is pretty huge. But in terms of what you learned overall from attending the event, how much have you been able to look back at and kind of fix mistakes and look at things? Are you proud of what you managed to achieve overall?
100%. I think that no one expected us to even get a map.
Yeah. If you look at the
or
community
just
comments, certainly.
Yeah, no one expected like anything, but we all know that we had like the potential to, make it out, potentially play versus these teams in practice. We played well, we were coming off like a really hot streak, from playing teams like Heroic, even though we lost, but having that experience versus them together, and playing versus Forza, it just all came to peace. Like we were all in like some flow state where we were just playing at like most of our peaks, and Forza weren't able to adapt because we were adapting more to them than they could to
Okay.
us. But yeah.
In terms of as well, when you were talking about Flashpoint qualifiers and stuff going for that, I would have loved to see you guys qualify for that, because I think you look at the teams and names in there. First of all, again, some of the teams yet be a great experience, but a lot of those teams, I'd have faith that you guys would be able to take them down. Do you look at some events like that and think, oh, we could do well in that, like we could do better than some of these other teams?
Yeah, for sure, I guess. Like, I think that qualifier was, I'm still kind of annoyed about both the games we lost in that qualifier. We lost against Windstrike in a best of 3. I think we should have won that best of 3. I think we threw Train quite hard, and then the same thing happened against Movie Star, where we played a best of 3 and we threw Train hard. So it's kind of frustrating. And I think our path, if we beat Windstrike, for example, would have been very doable if we look at like practice results against some of teams. So it was a bit annoying, but at the same time, we can't really look back and be like, oh, yeah, we could have been there and we could have done better than this and that, because we need to prove it, kind of thing. But I definitely think, like, I think we all like can look at events and be like, yeah, we could have been there and we could have done better and this and that. But I think that's just natural CS mindsets, I think.
Now, ESA I'm going to get onto next because you guys are still pushing hard in that. You're in the grand finals with a 1-0 lead, going up against ATAX in a couple of days. But how does it feel for you guys to be in this position? Because obviously, when you look at the European MDL, it's a pretty strong stacked set of roster.
Yeah, I think it's probably one of the toughest leagues, isn't it? I think we've done quite well this season, to be honest. I think we played out the regular season. I can't remember our record. It was like 11, 12, 3 or something.
14-2.
14-2.
And one was a forfeit loss. So.
Yeah, I think we only lost the game to Copenhagen Flames at the start of the season. But yeah, we've been playing quite well. Like even in these overtime games, like I was saying before, we're playing composed. And that's how I think we're able to edge out these games.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, how do you think it's going to be different? Because obviously you may have taken them down before, but like you're saying, they're very close. So do you feel like you've come on a long way since you last played them?
I think after we played them, like I think we all agreed as a team we didn't play to like even our remote highest level at all. Like we were playing really sloppy in the game, and we all said like we could be like better than what we are. Like we're throwing away rounds, we're not playing as well as we should be playing and stuff, and we still managed to edge it out. So I think, I don't know, hopefully we can get the best of 5 win over them, but I think we get a map advantage. So
yeah, you got the 1-0. You got the 1-0 advantage, and also it's only one spot, right? So you have to win that to get straight up and bumped up. How huge is that to just be able to not have to go through the whole relegation thing and just be able to get the straight qualifying spot?
It would be fantastic if we could do it. I'm believing that we can. So
believing
100%.
that we can. There you go. That's what I like. See, Max is like, yeah, believe that we can. Thomas comes at 100%. Robin, you got the final say on it.
110%.
Hey, we're just one-upping him. There you go, Thomas. You got to learn from that one.
Yeah, sometimes you got to take it now.
Now, in terms after, let's go through it this way. What are the goals for you guys? Right, we're going to say you've smashed ATAX, which is going to happen in a couple of days, so you're going to win that one, no problems. But for the rest of the year, for the next few months, what's the goals for you guys?
Defeat coronavirus and go to WSG.
yeah, I'm still waiting for that one.
I don't know. It's a weird landscape in CS right now, I guess, but and everything is online, so it's just kind of hard to put goals, I guess. But I guess we just want to do well in all the online tournaments we play, and then hopefully when the world is back to normal, we can get to some bigger events again, and hopefully do even better than last time. Such as like WSG, we have already secured, but we don't know when that is. But more events similar to that on that level, I think would be really good for us.
And I guess you guys are just kind of entering like every qualifier, every opportunity like that, or do you pick and choose which ones you can do?
We've been given loads of invites to HLTV Cups. Like,
nice.
I think we're really going to be focusing on playing all of these cups or like tournaments which are coming up, like Loot Bet. These are really big like opportunities if we can get out of the groups, to like pursue further. And it also gives us a lot of like experience playing against, teams that we don't sometimes prac against, to try and like, see if our stuff's actually working still. But yeah, I think like the opportunity is now there, and all we have to do is, play our game, and hopefully, if we can win, it'll be pretty nice.
And I know one of the main goals for you guys was to hit the top 30 rankings on HLTV would be a big achievement. You peaked at 35, currently sat in 38th. But what's needed? What do you guys need to do to break through the top 30 and continue to go up? Is it more strategy? Is it more time as a team? Mentally? What do you think is the missing components for you guys?
I think me and Ross spoke. I don't know. Maybe we had a team discussion about it. I can't remember. But I was speaking to Ross for sure about it. And our biggest like thing we don't do enough is watching ourselves back and seeing where we went wrong as a team, rather than adding more strats and stuff. I think in the big games, it's more of a case of what you do wrong rather than what you're doing right. Because I think if you have enough stuff, something's bound to work. And for us especially, we have so many things that we do on maps. And we know a lot of it works, so it's more of a case of figuring out what we're doing wrong. So,
okay. And in terms of, this is an interesting one I like to ask a lot of teams, because we're seeing more and more international rosters created, right? So mixed nationalities and that side of things. What would you guys say are the positives and the negatives of international rosters and stuff like that being formed and coming up?
From playing with like quite a few rosters which are international,
Mm.
I think that some people's cultures definitely clash. How people react to certain stuff. Like in UK, we've got a really big banter thing, which
Yeah.
sometimes people don't, they aren't able to understand fully. But like other countries, there's a lot of history there between countries, especially like within Europe, and sometimes they just clash. People
Mm.
do, but like there's definitely loads of advantages. Like you're able to utilize more skill, and having like the right coach. Like in No Chance, we had Devil Walk. He really basically glued the team
Yeah.
together, while Kevin was able to like you know build the team, which was like really good. But I've seen other teams like just fail purely because they don't have that openness and the communication, and then players have divides and all sorts.
All right. Well, now I've got a few more specific questions just aimed at you guys individually. So I'm going to pick and choose you ones out of it. I'm going to start with you, Max, because for you, obviously, you've taken on the in-game leader role, but it's obviously a learning curve and how that's all been working for you. So how's it been going? How do you feel it's been going? And do you still feel like it's like learning every day?
Still pretty rough, I think. I've been doing it for maybe just under 2 years, maybe a year and a half or something.
Mm-hmm.
But it's always a challenge. Like you have to figure out how you want to play. And even now, like it's still a challenge. You have to figure out what thing like utilize your players, how they work, like what are they good at. So yeah, it's definitely a challenge, but I think I'm getting the hang of it more so now than I was before.
Robin, Thomas, do you think he's doing a good job?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think he's
doing,
like,
I think he's doing well.
yeah, he's
I
adapting,
think doing awful.
because he's not had the opportunity to play with players whose like skill ceilings are much higher. So
Yeah.
like the previous endpoint teams, we would always have those problems of like cohesion and stuff. But right now, Max has like way more freedom to do what he wants and like implement ideas he wants to do, which is like really good, while having members who basically sort of just go along with it, can go along with it and adapt fast. So Max doesn't have to teach it all the time.
Mm.
People are using their own, experiences and mindsets to implement into his styles, which, if they've been working really well.
So you basically got rid of the trash and got players you can actually work with that are sensible and good. I
No
can say
comment.
you guys
No
can't.
comment.
Yeah.
But
I'm just coming in with the actual real
Right
hit there,
hook.
'cause I ain't holding back. I've watched our scene go down in terrible shambles over and over again from certain players. So good
I
riddance to
do, I
them.
do also think that Max has improved a lot. Like at his IGLing since we started the team, which is good. I think he's actively improving all the time as well.
You guys are too kind.
Are you blushing?
Well, Max doesn't know this, but I had a little nickname for him. I called him the Emperor of the UK scene in my eyes because, first of all, you've been on Endpoint for so long and you've held on to it. But my question is more around: have you ever had like an international offer or something to move away from the UK scene, or you just kind of thought that no, you always wanted to stay within the UK scene and make it work?
No, the only time I really branched out into like European territory was after the last endpoint roster. So I branched out. I played with some Bulgarian players, but other than that, I've been loyal to the UK scene. So
Big mistake.
And obviously, you've been with the endpoint guys, even though like there was a small gap for about 3 years. What's been the differences in the teams as you've kind of been involved in them and all the madness you've gone through?
I think both the org and the teams I've been in have grown. Like at the start, we were like quite amateur. We didn't really have much experience as players, but then like as the years went on, we slowly got more and more experienced players, and then right now we have probably like the best UK team there's been. So it's been quite a journey, I think.
You summed up
Yeah,
3
it's gonna
years in the quickest
continue.
way possible.
Yeah.
All right, Robert, this one's for you. So obviously you've turned away from the in-game leader role to focus on your game. Why did this need to happen for you?
I don't know. I think it's something I wanted. I first moved away from it when I joined Ancient together with Pronox,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just really nice playing and not having to IGL and worry about everyone else.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't mind IGLing. I'd still be up to or for doing it, but I think it's just nice right now. I can focus on myself way more, and I think it's been showing in some of our games at least that I can just frag out and focus on myself. But at the same time, it's kind of hard because I still have in the back of my head that like I need to worry about everyone else,
Mm.
and I think that's just a part of it though. But I think I'm getting it better at just focusing on myself and letting Max do the job.
And in terms of the difference between the UK and Swedish scenes, like, can you break that down to some people that may not really know the differences between it, and also for you is like how much do you try to bring of the positive side from Swedish scene and bring it over to your different UK teams? Because obviously for you it must have been very hard when you have to play with certain players in the UK scene who just are unacceptable in many ways compared to what you might be used to.
I don't know. Compared to the Swedish scene, it's hard. I don't think I've ever like really been in the Swedish scene. I think at the start I had like mixed teams with my friends, but
Mm-hmm.
and then I was in Gatekeeper's Singularity thing, but we were just kind of outsiders because we were all back banned. So I don't know. It's hard to say what playing in like the real Swedish scene is like in like the top 4 like Swedish teams. I've never experienced that, so I can't really tell. But I guess for more international experience kind of thing, I think mm, I don't know. I don't really know how to put it or what to say really. But I think something that UK players struggle with is just I think attitude, comms,
There we go.
those kind of things, and I think I have been helping a lot with that before. I don't think I need as much before or as much right now because of the experience in the team. But I think those two are the key things that I brung with me back in the days.
Yeah, I was going to say you touched on it lightly, but I used to play in Swedish and Danish mixed teams, basically a couple of Brits and the rest of them. And it's just mentality for me that definitely doesn't seem to have changed too much. But at least with you guys, it seems to be in a much more positive position. So Thomas, Mr. Balance in education and gameplay at the same time, how on earth have you managed to do all this, mate? Because it can't have been easy at all.
To be honest, the deadlines like for my uni work, they've been absolutely brutal. So, I try and take my work, to places so I could do it, but I just end up not doing any because I'm more focused on the CS. But it's really balancing your time. Like I really dedicate quite a bit of time in my own time anyways to do work, and it is brutal when you've got work due in, and you're sort of having to do it all in the week prior because there's so much CS wise that you're doing, from boot camps to like online tournaments, then practice. It's consistent, but it can definitely be done. I definitely think it could be done. I'm doing it now, so.
Tell us how it goes on your final year, right?
Yeah.
But what kind of sacrifices have you had to make to kind of have this working? Because obviously, to me, it seems like from the outside, if you're not on CS, you obviously have to do your uni stuff as well, but you're basically burning the candle at both ends in that sense.
Yeah, like purely balancing time is sort of just, so when I do my uni work and go into uni, do my lectures, I have a brief moment where I'm able to like, socialize with all my mates at uni. Because we book a day off because I have a full day at uni, and I sort of use that to socialize as well, in the afternoons or like late night. For practices, it's more like I just gotta ram everything in from practice, and then I've gotta, put that to the side and absolutely just bash out a load of uni work
Yeah.
and making sure it's like, good quality. So, balancing your time is just the most important thing. Making sure that you're in the right mindset as well to do that work is also important. Like when say we took a rough loss or something, your mind's going to be on that for hours. You know, it's very hard to switch out of it if you take a loss, and you know that time is basically wasted. So yeah.
And does the team have to kind of do a lot of changing on schedule or practice time, or do you work yourself around them?
It goes both ways at the moment, because I work around the team mostly, but you know, some lectures I have to go to, so the team has to work around me
Yeah.
in that sense. But because of the coronavirus now, I'm definitely going to be looking at it a lot differently.
There you go. There's something to be found from the coronavirus. In terms of, obviously, when you used to be on the Smash roster, now known as Godsent, did it hurt for you to have to take a step back and go back to the UK? Did you want to try and continue to find some international success?
No, not really, because I was kind of going through a dilemma myself, because you know, when I joined them, I just finished my second year of uni, so I had a lot of free time to play with them. So it wasn't like I was being stressed. I was able to like fully practice with them. You know, we went to Malmo to practice boot camp. You know, none of that concerned me with all the
Yeah.
LANs and online tournaments. But my biggest concern coming after the minor, you know, we beat like Mouse Sports there. You know, I was thinking like, you know, it's all coming to reality that I'm having to pick between university or continuing with this team. And it sort of sent me into like a shock in some sense, because the reality of me not continuing my education would be like, am I? I would have to go fully into this, when in reality I wasn't actually. I wouldn't say ready. Ready. I was ready in game to play like full time,
Yeah.
but I wanna have that fallback plan no matter what. You know, like
Smart.
I see a lot of people, you know, they dedicate everything to CS. You know, they throw away important time which they have in education, and they pursue a career which they might not get. I've had a handful of offers which, you know, would make me go way more full time, you know, in America, but you know, it's just not worth it at the moment.
Okay. Good honest answers, and I'll agree with that. It's always good. You especially never know what's going to happen. Like if you're trying to be in football, doesn't matter if it's esports, or if you're doing the real football, doesn't matter if you're doing CS, whatever it is, that if you don't have something to fall back on and it could all be pulled from you, a team loses a sponsor, or you get dropped or whatever, it could be a rough ride. So I've got a final question for all of you before we go on to the Q&A, see what the chat's going to say. Hopefully not too much meme stuff being fired about. We'll open up the floodgates, I'm sure. But I'm going to start with you, Thomas, and work my way around. Has this been the best team you've ever played on? If no, why? If yes, why? Just go through that.
I think team-wise, this has been my favorite team to play in.
Nice dodge of the question. Yeah.
I would have to say, like, probably No Chance was probably the best team because of how much like experience I had there. You know, with players like Steeko coming from like Mouse Sports. You know, there's a lot of like things to learn with Devil Walk. You know, playing at majors and winning majors. You know, there's a lot more experience there, and you know, it shows. But my personal passion for this project, you know, is way above that. Like, I prefer to be here doing what we are doing, because I believe in what we're working towards, and it means way more to me than winning with like, you know, that No Chance lineup. If I went to the minor with this team and we beat Mouse Sports, you know, the feeling would be 10 times more, because I really believe, you know, getting a UK team into the top 30 even further, you know, that would be awesome, you know, and that is kind of what my goal is.
Nice. Robin, same question to you, mate.
I don't think it's the best team I've been a part of. I think pure skill wise, I think the first Epsilon lineup we had was better, and I think like we beat some great teams. But I think I agree with Thomas in the sense of that it's probably my favorite team to be playing in. I think it's just a nice environment. We're all friends. And like you said, I think it would mean a lot more doing great with this team than like a lot of other teams I've been a part of.
Finally, Max, your turn.
Oh, well, same question.
Oh yes, you're all answering it.
Considering every team I've been in is an endpoint team, I think has to be a yes, right?
Good answer. But why is that? What? Give me the reason.
Just for me as an IGL, it's nicer to play with people that can sort of play their own game. I don't have to micromanage everyone every round. You know, that I can say like what we're doing, and then I'll let them off, and they can do what they want.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like a big thing off my shoulders as an IGL, and then as long as we all get along with each other as well, like we're all friends, and also we're the highest ranked team the UK's been. So easy
Love
answer
to see
for me.
it. Love to see it. All right, we're going to take some questions from chat now, so let's see how this goes. One in already. What are your expectations for next season? I'm guessing next season of what does he mean exactly?
Probably ESEA.
Uh-huh.
MDL. To be honest, you know, if we make MDL, which I think we will, it's definitely going to be hard, but it's going to be so much better for us. We're going to have a lot more opportunity to play versus these teams, and I think we have what it takes to even, you know, make it to playoffs.
What can be done outside of the game to help the UK scene? I'll start off with one thing just to grow is get rid of the horrid people that have been the problem for the longest time and let the right people do their job properly. Orgs like Endpoint and stuff like that to do the correct way of building a scene, even outside of just CSGO, but maybe the players want to answer so a little bit more on that.
I don't know. I guess players should try and act more professionally, even if you're not on a top team. Sometimes I go for my Twitter feed and it's just I see some things, man. That's like you can't be tweeting that.
Yeah.
Also, as well, I guess it's probably a UK thing, but the banner and all that on Twitter, I guess is fine. But you see a lot in low, like I get told some things where like people are just absolutely going ham on Twitter at other people because they've beat them in like a best of one on the ACA and stuff. It's like they like people get caught up in the wrong things. Like you shouldn't really be caring about a best of one result against a domestic team. Like you should be looking beyond the UK scene, I think.
Definitely.
I definitely think like a big thing for a lot of people upcoming is make sure that you don't, you know, burn bridges with people. Like I think that happened for a long time with me and Smoothie at the start, you know, but just don't do it. It's just not worth it because when you get to a certain point, you know, people don't forget these, you know, they're pretty irrelevant, but people will always remember them.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you'll just be known for doing that specific thing. And, you know, that could literally block you from, you know, releasing your full potential. But yeah, just make sure that you don't flame people unneededly.
Makes sense. Makes sense. How does
Coming
the
from
living
Mr. Thomas.
situation work for you guys? Obviously, I can see you all in different houses, but is everyone in the UK? What's going on with that?
I live in Sweden.
So you're still staying in Sweden?
So everyone's just at
Simple
home.
process.
So
Everyone's
UK,
just there's no house. There's just boot camp maybe before events and stuff like that.
Yep, quarantine. Gotta
Yeah.
keep safe. Can't be spreading it to all the old people outside. Gotta isolate.
Stay indoors, Thomas. Don't
Oh,
give it
I
to anyone
will.
else, please.
Oh, I will. I've been staying indoors. Good boy.
Good man. Right. How much does exposure at these bigger events help with getting other teams / TOs to see you as a contender for events?
Um,
I think it was quite a lot. Like
What?
when we first formed the team, we were getting like no invites, and
Mm.
now like we slowly we get like the odd invite here and there at the start. I think the first invite we got was because of our WSG result, and I think
Yeah.
we made to the final and we played heroic and got slaughtered. But coming second and third and stuff, you still get noticed by other TOs.
It's massive as well in terms of the points you get on the rankings. I think that's
Yeah, true.
like you get a lot of points on those kind of events, and then points is what you need to rank up, and ranking is what invites are based off. So getting to those events and playing there is just massive.
Just because you've touched on the rankings, I want to say is do you guys think the rankings and how it all works out for teams at your level, do you think it's fair? Because obviously they have such a big impact, like you were just saying there, on getting
I
invited.
I don't know. I haven't really thought about it that much, but my initial thought is that it's not overly fair. Because to get into the rankings, there's what HLTV rankings, which I guess is the fairest one,
Mhm.
and then there's also like ESL rankings, and there's also DreamHack rankings.
Of
And
course.
to get points on ESL and DreamHack rankings, you have to be in their events, and to get to their events, like a lot of teams get invited based off other points that they have. So it's like this is a circle of people getting re-invited based on points. So for us to like, the reason why we got points was because of the DreamHack Anaheim spot. And realistically, like how many teams are going to make it to these events? Like one or two out of all the invites you have to qualify for. So I don't think it's inherently fair, but I don't know what the alternative is, to be honest.
Yeah, it's really hard when you look at rankings and systems and how you'd all set it up because, like you're saying there, some teams can hang on and just be losing but still get invites. So they gain a certain amount of points or whatever, and it doesn't work out. It's like they shouldn't even be there at this point. So maybe someone will come up with one smart system that solves them all. All right, next question is for you, Thomas. It says, how did you get picked up by a team and recognized? So I guess that means at the beginning for you, mate.
I played a lot of FPLC. I played FPL. I basically made a lot of contacts through there. Not only that, but when I played in the previous endpoint lineups and iterations of it, I was able to perform in those lineups. And I guess my reputation, like in the European scene, isn't that bad compared to other people. So people are definitely out there to take a chance out on me because from what I've been told, people say quite a few nice things about me. So I guess that really helped, me getting into an EU team.
Okay. And question for Robin or Max is thought on lack of people coming through wanting to IGL, and for the few that are, any tips to improve?
But I think the reason people don't want IGL because it's literally double the time you have to put in, I think.
Yeah.
And on top of that, you'll have to sacrifice yourself a lot in games in terms of positions and how you play. I think like you won't have the fanciest and best stats if you IGL, and I think that's what a lot of people want because that's how you become the best player in the world, not by IGLing and playing for the team. So I guess that's a big
Yeah, I agree.
part of it.
I can't think of any recently anyone like a UK team that's had to start IGLing. Like there's been obviously Endpoint where I've IGL'd, Vexed where I think Adam's IGL, maybe I'm wrong. The Reason team where Astro is still IGL, and then other than that, I don't know who's IGL like in the UK scene. There's not many compared to like the old days of Source and stuff where like there was just too many IGLs. Like there was just IGL in every single team. But yeah, it's not really a role people want to do. Like I know
Yeah.
I didn't like I've had to sort of just adapt and go into it because like there was literally no IGLs in the UK. And like I guess a lot of UK people want to play for stats and stuff and play as an IGL. Like especially when you're starting off, it's not going to be great for you. So, but for learning it, I don't know. Like you have to just trial and error and figure out like how you want to do it yourself because I think every IGL is a bit different, to be honest.
Yeah. And in terms of obviously this guy's asking the question, but we kind of covered it already. It says, did the team think they would ever go back to UK lands, but you're planning to do the Epic Lands and I series? Yeah, from what we discussed earlier.
No, I don't
No.
think so.
Oh, so you're not gonna do it. You're not gonna attend them.
Like unless like I don't know. I don't see a world in which we would go to an I series if we're top 40 in the world. Like it's just for us, there's probably a better tournament to be playing with better opposition. So it's like I don't know. It would depend on our schedules.
All right. So do you think you'd be where you are now, guys, if you weren't full time?
No, I don't think so.
No, I doubt. I think there's a certain point you can get to without playing full time, but then after that, you have to put in so much work. So I think I'd be surprised if I was here if I wasn't playing full time.
Yeah, I think I'd be here.
He'd be at uni, just still playing FPL in his downtime.
I'm still, juggling everything. So yeah, I'll put the confidence card out there. Yeah, I reckon I'll still be lurking around.
I mean, personally, I'd probably be here still, if it wasn't full time. But I think team wise, I don't think our team would be where we are now if we weren't playing full time.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd be an IGO if I wasn't playing full time.
All right,
Playing too much
boys.
Bannerlord.
Well, thank you very much for your time, guys. It's been a good bit of fun getting to deep dive a little bit further into this. Obviously, from what I said at the beginning to even what I'm saying now, I definitely think you guys have the biggest chance of flying the flag for us in a positive way. So I wish you the best of luck to continue forward with the success. Hope everyone watching has enjoyed this. It'll be up on the Endpoint YouTube channel as well, so you can watch it all back if you've missed any of it. But until then, I guess we'll see you next time.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye
Bye-bye.